I got my start in fitness by starting it with a part-time job at the North York YMCA. Later, after I graduated from university, I went on to Pakistan and volunteered at a community fitness center. In 1999, I returned and I went to my first Canadian Fitness Professionals Conference. At that time, I felt like a path had illuminated in front of me. And as I watched the presenters, I thought to myself, I really want to do that. And I realized at that point that everything that I had done up until I had gotten to Pakistan had prepared me for the profession. When I was a kid, I was very overweight, and that presented a lot of challenges. I was constantly bullied at school. I had difficulties participating in physical education class. I would sometimes skip class because I wouldn't want to go. I couldn't play sports, and I became a couch potato. The result of that is that I just got heavier and heavier, and I just started to feel more worse about myself. At about the age of 15, I just decided that I'd had enough and I really wanted to make some important changes in my life. South Asian culture is more sports-oriented. In traditions, we've seen South Asians in sports like cricket, soccer, and they tend to stay on the athletic sides of things. They don't participate as much in gym culture, and I know it because they're not coming to my classes. I think a lot of that has to do with parental influence. We haven't seen our parents go to the gym. We haven't seen them as role models in those areas. And naturally, we look up to who our role models are at home. My parents, that's been a difficult situation at times. One time I had to do a photo shoot with my shirt off, and my mother was really opposed to it. However, we sat down as a family and my father. I brought her a bunch of fitness magazines and we said, Mom, look, this is the way it's done. It's not a big deal, but she just didn't want anybody to see her son that way. However, my father was extremely supportive and he said, Farhan, don't worry, we'll support you, do what you gotta do. So I did. And so when the magazine came to the house, but she came down and she took a look at it, and when I got home, she said, you know what, they're okay. A couple of things that I love to do is teach step aerobics. I love to cycle, so spinning. I love inline skating. And most importantly, my favorite activity is weightlifting. I discovered meditation in about my late 20s. I met with someone who was what I call a spiritual counselor, and she introduced me to meditation. And she said to me, Farhan, you need to find balance in your lifestyle. Take 10 minutes out of your day just for you, where you're not concentrating on the patients that you're working on, when you're not being physically active, when there's no demands, there's no cell phones, there's no pagers, it's just you. And those 10 minutes, I find, are the most powerful moment of my day. To be efficient in the things that we have to do in everyday life, we have to create that unstable environment.
What's interesting is I think all of the things that he was interested in pursuing, he achieved. You know, he became a Reebok master trainer. He became a very respected presenter at many, many conventions. He's traveled the world. And also, he's, you know, on a successful television show, In Shape with Sharon Mann. One word that best describes Farhan is professional.
Squatting down, and not perfect, lift the ball up towards the ceiling.
I've seen him transform from someone who has a great deal of knowledge and yet a lot of fear to stand in front of people and present, to someone who's completely comfortable and can put his best qualities out via education and communication too, as a presenter.
Put your name on a piece of paper. They'll be on the stage there with your name and email address.
He, along with a few others, have been my mentors in an interesting way. And Farhan, I think the most outstanding thing about him is how he embodies not just what he teaches, but what he believes.
One word that best describes me is passionate, because I'm passionate about everything that I do. As far as that little overweight boy, I think it's so far in the past that I never want to think about him again.